The second one I'll give is probably the number one cross-industry use case for blockchain. That's the supply chain. And we're showing here the concept of putting the complex tree of parts for an aircraft onto a blockchain, and using the blockchain to record when things change in the assembly or disassembly of that tree of parts. And we can record things like all the manufacturing data, where the elements, where the part or the subsystem has been in its journey from manufacture all the way through to integration into the final aircraft. And we can even keep things down to which the individual computer-aided machine programming module that was used to create the part, if that's relevant. So we've got this way of actually maintaining throughout the life cycle of an asset who's done what to the asset over time. Although this is the example around a complex system of systems like a modern aircraft, there are some really interesting use cases and public references that we've got around supply chain. For example, the Everledger Corporation has actually worked with IBM to basically render a mining to diamond retailing supply chain onto the blockchain. And they do that to prevent their supply chain pollution. So that means that they can make sure that there are no false diamonds or synthetic diamonds or blood diamonds or anything like that get into the supply chain. So effectively, the retailer can be sure of the complete audit trail or provenance of the diamond that they're buying, and hence increasing the net value of that diamond through the improvement of trust. There are examples of supply chain use cases across manufacturing industry, across all types of different industries. And as I say, I think this is probably the most common cross-industry use case. The advantages are clear. The trust goes up because you know who's done what to each asset as it goes through its life cycle. We know who's owned each asset, where it's been in geographical terms, and hence the whole supply chain becomes much more efficient in terms of keeping track of who's owned what. Coming back finally to this concept of using blockchain in the supply chain to maintain a complex system of records, we can be very specific. If something goes wrong with an aircraft, maybe there's a maintenance incident or something similar, we can be very specific in diagnosing that incident and finding which subsystems and which parts were actually were constituted part of the maintenance event, rather than do a whole cross-fleet analysis or cross-fleet recall in the case of failure. So this can reduce costs from those terms as well.